Greetings and blessings, everyone. Welcome. I welcome you in the name of all those who have come before me, upon whose shoulders I stand, and I welcome you in the name of all that is sacred and holy for you. I am the Reverend Anthony Mtuaswa Johnson, and it is indeed an honor and a pleasure to share this space with you at this time. Speaking of sharing and honoring, the words from the UU congregation of Dublin, Ireland, resonate with me still. And they say, and I quote, "We do not ask what you believe or expect you to think the way we do, but only that you try and live a kind and helpful life with the dignity proper to that of a human being." So welcome all who believe that religion is wider than any sect and deeper than any set of opinions. Welcome all who might find in our friendship strength and encouragement for daily living. End of quote. So today's sermon is entitled Wisdom. Wisdom in today's world. You know, when the subject or the topic of wisdom comes up, I imagine the usual images tend to follow. Old books, elders with the wisdom on many years kind of carved into the wrinkles on their faces, or diplomas framed and filling one's office wall. Endless letters placed in front and behind of your name, PhD, LCSW, JD, Rev, etc. So we get the message. Wisdom is about accumulation. If you want to be wise, you need to pile it on. More knowledge, more experiences, more books to read, more gurus to follow, more degrees to get. Is that accumulation about wisdom, or is that about knowledge? And what is the difference between the two? Martin Fisher offers us this. Knowledge is a process of piling up facts. Wisdom lies in their simplification. Lin Yutang offers this. Besides the noble art of getting things done, there is also the noble art of leaving things undone. The wisdom of life consists in the elimination of non-essentials. End of quote. So today, let this be a reminder that the math of wisdom is often the opposite of what we think. Maybe, just maybe, it's more a game of subtraction than addition. Often the accumulation of knowledge doesn't get us closer to wisdom. Sometimes it's just in the way. You see, there's kind of a sorting, a simplifying, and a stripping away that needs to occur. I believe it to be about unknowing as much as knowing. Think about how deeply we get tangled up in those culturally wise messages about money or about success or the degrees or the SAT or the IQ test. We mix up status rather than the pursuit of truth. Or the way political parties, religion, and science claim to have the answers, all of them. I hear that great Persian poet Hafez whispering in my ear. And he says, quote, "The beloved sometimes wants to do us a great favor, hold us upside down, and shake all the nonsense out." End of quote. So with all our nonsense shaken out and stripped away, maybe what we notice most is not so much the pearls of wisdom themselves, but maybe the sources of wisdom that we have forgotten. When reason and logic hog the spotlight, the wisdom of the body rarely enters the room. When week-long retreats with the latest guru define our path to wisdom, we stop asking what our failures and our mistakes have to teach us. When experts sit in the center, the wisdom of those on the margins is lost. So many untapped resources, so much wisdom waiting to be known. Makes me think that maybe, just maybe, the wisest question that we may ask ourselves is, where have I not looked before? One answer, one place that I believe in and call upon and offer for your consideration and reflection. In fact, I wrote a poem about it. Goes like this. Ancestor logic is not logical. Ancestor logic is not biological. Ancestor logic is not psychological. Ancestor logic is not logical at all. Ancestor logic is not concerned about the person, neither the son of her or the daughter of her. Ancestor logic, you see, is before the self. Ancestor logic puts that ego on the shelf. Bringing you here from kingdoms come. Ancestor logic, I say that's where we all come from. It may have started with the sway of an hip, or the wink of an eye, the magic of a smile, or maybe the sound of a sweet sigh. Attraction, then acceptance. A hug, a kiss, and a natural body click. 9 months later, you got a belly kick. Ancestor logic is not logical. What's logical about the sway of a hip? Or the wink of an eye? The magic of a smile? Or the sound of a sigh? Ancestor logic, the knowledge antiseptic. That's ancestor logic. Wisdom and life is really non-toxic. True wisdom may be ancestor logic. So wisdom, my friends, I offer is a gift. You and I, we pass it on to each other like a precious jewel. None of us wants to hold on to it. We want to share it. Share the mistakes we made so that others may not make those. So we generously share our advice. It's not just something we collect to uplift ourselves. No, in other words, wisdom connects us. It's something we pass on. Or put it another way, wisdom and kinship and kindness are more closely linked than we may acknowledge. When was the last time you were wise enough to ask yourself, or to refer to what I call the 3 most powerful words in the English language? I don't know. Sandra Carey reminds us, and I quote, "Never mistake knowledge for wisdom. Knowledge helps you make a living. Wisdom helps you make a life." End of quote. My favorite shaman said this, quote, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift. The rational mind is a faithful servant." I want to repeat that. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. End of quote. Have we created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift? That shaman's name is Albert Einstein, by the way. Yes, I call quantum physicists, because in my culture we don't call them shamans, we prefer the term quantum physicists. One of my old heroes, Jimi Hendrix, said, "Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens." Jimmy also said, and Bob Dylan wrote, "There's no reason to get excited. The thief, he kindly spoke. There are many, many here among us who feel that life is but a joke. But you and I, we've been through this. 'Tis not our fate. So let us stop talking falsely now. The hour's getting late." Emo Phillips said, quote, "I used to think that the brain was the most wonderful organ in the body. Then I realized who was telling me this." Confucius say, "By 3 methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection. Second, by imitation. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest." End of quote. How about a wise man who was also a UU minister, Reverend William Ellery Channing said, and I quote, "There are seasons in human affairs of inward and outward revolution." Maybe like the time we're going through right now. I might digress. He says there are seasons in human affairs of inward and outward revolution when new depths seem to be broken up in the soul. When new wants are unfolded in multitudes, and a new and undefined good is thirsted for. Sounding kind of familiar? There are periods when to dare is the highest wisdom. End of quote. So in closing, let me say that I believe our wisest teachers are the ones who show you and I how to use our heart. Blessed be. Amen. Ashe.